Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever finished a book and been like, this would make the perfect TV show or the perfect movie? I do it all the time. So today I just want to talk about some of my most wished for book to TV or book to film adaptations. Those books that I just know if Hollywood or someone in Hollywood would make the right call, it would be a hit. Instant hit, and I'm just waiting for the day that happens. So let's dive right in. Okay, so I'm going to start this list off by all of the books that I think would actually make really good TV series, and then we'll move into the movies later on. Most of these are going to be book series. First one is Elsie Silver's Rose Hill series. If you're familiar with the series, you know that there is a big cast of characters in this book series, and while they are interconnected standalones, they're pretty connected, and we follow different timelines of all these different characters. And I just see this being like such a great adult romance drama kind of series, almost like a One Tree Hill but cowboy version. But there's also the glamour aspect of some of the characters as well, like some of them are really wealthy and things. Like, I just really could see this being the grown-up version of One Tree Hill for all of us that loved that show growing up. We need something new like that. So make this one happen for me, please. Okay, and this next one, I feel like if you've read this series, you have obviously had this thought, but it is Magnolia Parks. This obviously could be a very great television series. I will say I have not completed the full series yet. I still need to read the last 2 books, but I mean, it's already compared to Gossip Girl constantly, and I totally agree and get it. And Gossip Girl was a hit television show, so like, what are we even waiting on when it comes to Magnolia Parks? I cannot believe that one hasn't been picked up yet, honestly, because it's been a pretty popular book amongst book talk. So the fact that it hasn't been picked up by anyone is wild to me, but I hope in the next couple of years that happens. Next one is actually not a series. It's one single book, and it is Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abedike. The book has gotten mixed reviews on Book Talk, on all the platforms, and I think that most commonly the complaint I see about this book is that it's a little bit too slow moving, which I understand for a book. But I think that this would just be the perfect, like, dark academia kind of television, like YA or new adult kind of younger audience television show. The vibe, the atmosphere, all of it just screams like because they're also like at like a boarding school situation, so it just screams like that end of summer new dark academia TV series. I just think that it would be so good. Next one on my list is also actually not a TV series, but it is one of the books. I read this book, like, I want to say in 2023, and it is a book that I constantly think about because the writing style and the concept of telling this story is so interesting to me. I had never read a book like this before, and I haven't since either. So the book is Ask for Andrea by Noelle Ely. And this is a book that follows a serial unaliver, but it is told from the victim's point of view, and there's several of them, obviously. And so I really just think that could make for an interesting TV show. And I think that there's also so many different ways that you could go about making the TV series. Like, for example, there's, you could do like a very limited series TV show and just do where each episode is about one of the characters, and then the finale is like all of them coming together and the conclusion of the story and everything. Or you could also have them be different narrators off screen and keep it a secret as to who the narrators actually are. I just think it's such an interesting concept for a book, and therefore I think it would be an interesting concept for a TV show. And it was a really good book. Not only was the the plot and concept really intriguing and interesting to me, but it was a thrilling book. I remember just flipping, like hitting my Kindle, trying to get through that book as fast as possible because of the amount of anxiety that that story was giving me, and my heart was pounding, like literally physical reactions to the story. I think that it would be such a great TV show. Limited series, but still a great TV show. Last one on the list for TV series is American Royals. If you don't know what this book series is, it is YA. I also have not totally completed this series, but this to me would make the absolute perfect, like, teenage, gossipy, glamoury kind of television series. There's drama, there's mess, there's some politics in there. This would make a great little teeny bopper television show, and teeny bopper television shows are the best. This is a CW show in the making, I'm telling you. This is one of the books that kind of got me back into reading when I first started kind of diving back in 2020. Like I said, I haven't totally finished this series yet, but I absolutely love it. Let me just explain to you, like, I'm going to read a little blurb. This is book 1 on the back of the book in case you haven't heard of it, because I honestly don't really hear a lot of people talking about this series, and maybe it's because it's YA, I don't know. But let me just read to you what it's about, and I think that just explains it. So, the Washingtons, that's right, descendants of George Washington, have been on the American throne for 2.5 centuries. They're the most famous family in the world, but behind the glittering ballrooms and the perfect public personas are romances and scandalous secrets that could cost them the throne. Hello, CW. Is CW still even a network? I really don't know. But if they are, you're sleeping on this one. This is a CW television series waiting to happen. This one is the one out of all the books I've talked about today that I'm like, I know a teenage drama scandally kind of series when I see one, and it's this. Moving on to books that I think need a movie adaptation. Also, as we're going through these, just to be clear, when I say I see these as movie adaptations, I'm specifically talking about Netflix, Hulu, like a streaming service movie adaptation, not necessarily like big screen, because I do think that there's a big difference in those, and to be honest with you, I prefer the streaming ones. Like, I don't know. I feel like the streaming services are doing a lot better with movies than like the actual big time Hollywood productions are as of late anyway. The first one is the book Outdrawn. This as a movie would absolutely eat. Oh my gosh, it would be so good. Imagine elaborating a little bit more, a little bit longer on their time in college, their rival in college, before we move on to them as adults. Like, elongating that storyline a little bit before we jump into the more present day storyline. I just know that this would be such a good sapphic romance movie. You can even kind of make it even more a little bit rom-com-y than what the book is. It's so good. And I love the story. There's so much about them finding themselves, finding, someone to love. I just think that it would be a great kind of rom-com situation for sure. Next on the list, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This would be the absolute best summer romance kind of movie. I vividly remember while reading this that I'm like, this is going to be the book of Abby Jimenez's that gets picked up and turned into a movie. It has to be. Like, I just kept envisioning it constantly. It was so almost like she wrote, like, sometimes it truly felt like this was reading the screenplay. So this one, I've already watched the movie in my head, but I would love to see Netflix take a stab at it. Okay, this last book you have probably never heard of in your life. It's a book that I read a couple years ago. I checked it out from my local library. It's called Suburban Hell by Maureen Kilmer, I think is what her name was. Okay, imagine Desperate Housewives, okay? They live on a little cul-de-sac. lots of rich families. The moms are all momming together. They're all besties, all the things, a lot of gossipy, a lot of judgy, all of that kind of stuff. And then imagine one of them gets possessed and they all have to work together to save her soul. It's such a campy book. It's so good. It's also so funny and like just over the top. But I think that it would make such a funny, like, campy Halloween movie. But I could also see it as being like an into summer movie as well, or like a summer horror kind of movie. But it is very, very campy, which are sometimes some of my favorite horror movies are over the top campy. I absolutely love campy horror movies. So this was like perfect for me as a read. But this one for me, I just think would be such a good Netflix movie. And I could see like Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, oh, what is her name? I cannot think of her name. Basically, just put the cast of Bridesmaids in this movie and turn it into Desperate Housewives meets like Scream or something like that. It would just be so, so good. I would love to see this one turned into a movie. I'd also love for more people to read this book because I've literally never heard anyone else talk about it and I absolutely loved it. If you're into like horror campy situations, this would be right up your alley. All right, well, that wraps it up for today's videos. Make sure you drop your dream adaptations down in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit the like button and also hit the subscribe so you can stick around, have more book chats with me, reality TV chats, and all the Big Brother 27 coverage you will need this upcoming season. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'll see you in the next one.